Mr. Robert?
I'd like a word with you.
If it's about young Master Samuel, sir.
Of course it's about Samuel.
He's got the makings of a very fine seaman, that boy.
I have this to say to you, sir. If you had been sailing for any other line, I would have seen to it that you lost your master's ticket double quick. Nor would you have worked for anyone else ever again. As it is, I'm sure that my brother will bear out any lies you care to invent.
Lies?
Yes, sir, lies. But a word of warning. Keep away from my son. If I find out that you have so much as passed the time of day with him, I shall have the law on you. Is that clear?
But I tell you...
There's nothing more to be said. Now, is my son on board or at home?
He's at home, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Robert, now, you've got it all wrong. I tell you, Well, I reckon I should have stayed in South America.
South America? But how? Why?
A gift from Colonel Vega. Compensation for the loss of Paul Baines. A personal compensation. Now, Letty, the only people that know about this are Baines, myself, and you.
There must be thousands there.
Oh, not as much as I lost. Now, this must remain very secret. Very secret indeed.
Of course. What will you do, James? Keep it under your bed?
Now, money's only useful if it's made to work.
Indeed, something I've only recently come to realize myself.
But how?
How?
Well, how can I make it work? If I went and bought another ship, half the people in this town would want to know where that money came from.
Ah, you'd have creditors stretching from here to the town hall, and Mr. Harris of the bank would be at the head of them.
Aye. Perhaps it's time I bought our brother Robert.
Well, you haven't got enough there for that, have you?
Now, he owns 15% of the company, but 15% of what? He doesn't know what the company's worth.
James, he is your brother.
Well, what's that got to do with it? It's his business. Oh, I've mixed business and family for far too long. Now, that's a lesson that it's taken me a long time to learn.
I see. Well, if that's the way you feel, perhaps I'd better take a leaf out of your book.
I don't understand.
You will, James, you will.
Well, Letty, I'm not known for my patience.
You know, that fact does not escape my notice, James.
Oh, you are an infuriating woman. You hinted something, and then instead of coming out with it like...
The man?
Yes. No. No, in all points of the cup. If you've got something to say, say it.
Very well, I will. Do you know you've been in this house for 30 minutes after being away for months? 30 minutes. I know, because I looked at the clock for the umpteenth time before you came through that door, and in all that time you've talked about nothing except business and money.
Oh. Well, I thought you'd be interested.
I'm interested in lots of things, James. It depends, however, the order in which they come.
Mrs. Gibson will answer that.
I think perhaps I'd better go, or else we'll be needing a new front door.
Is my brother in?
Yes, it's in the drawer.
Don't worry, Letty. I'll let myself in.
Robert, you have come at a most inconvenient time.
I'm not interested if it's convenient. I've got something to say to you that can't wait.
Ah, about Samuel, no doubt.
You know perfectly well it's about Samuel. James, you stooped pretty low in the past, but I never imagined that you'd stoop so low as to inveigle my own son away from me.
Inveigle? He stowed away. Well, ask him. Nothing to do with me.
That's rubbish, and you know it. For years, you've enticed him with tales of the sea, with romantic yarns of life before the mast. And all the time, you've known perfectly well that I've planned a quite different career for him.
Now, look, Robert, most lads of his age are interested in adventure, not in shopkeeping.
In your opinion? Well, you've done enough harm to me and mine in the past. So I will thank you to stop interfering and don't advise me on how to bring up my own son.
Look, Robert, all I'm trying to tell you is that Samuel has the makings of a good seaman. Now, he might have the makings of a good shopkeeper as well, but talk to him about it, not to me.
James, you took Samuel halfway across the world. You just can't wash your hands of it as easily as all that.
I tried to dissuade him.
You did nothing. You were sighted by at least 3 ships before you reached Lisbon. You could have put him on any one of those.
Well, I chose not to.
And we both know why, don't we? Samuel's your nephew, but he's as near as you're ever going to get to having a son of your own. Get out of my house. What's more to the point, keep out of mine.
I want you to make 2 lists.
Captain Bain, sir.
Yeah?
Sir, you got a minute for an old sea dog, sir?
A minute, no more, Yallop. What is it?
Oh, many a time we sailed together, Captain. When you was mate and I was bosun.
Yeah, but you ain't boasting no more not for 20 years.
That's true, sir. But I was bosun once. Still a good seaman, sir. Looking for a likely berth, sir.
Still strong, are you?
Oh, strong as horse, sir. Strong as a cart horse.
Off the drink, are you?
Oh, as ever was.
Yeah, able seaman's all like off here, Yallop.
Bless you, sir. I thought I'd be starving this time next week.
Mr. Mate, this man to sign articles is able seaman.
Aye, sir.
Thank you, sir. Oh, thank you kindly, sir. Able seaman.
You know, William, one day I think you're going to be a famous engineer.
Oh, I may not be an engineer at all.
But I thought that's what you wanted more than anything in the world.
Only at the moment. It's something I have to do.
Have to.
Because of my father. He was an engineer. I'd like to prove that he was right, that his ideas can work.
But you don't like doing it.
Now, I didn't say that.
Sounded like it.
I like working things out. I'm good at figures and I want to make this work. But that doesn't mean I want to be an engineer all my life.
Well, what do you want to be?
Oh, I don't know. Something to do with mathematics. Ever since I went to mathematical school, a whole new world's opened up to me.
You surely can't like algebra. If a squared plus b equals c, what is x? It's all double Dutch to me.
You silly goose. Algebra's simple. Next time I come, I'll bring you a book and explain it to you.
Now, what's all this?
Father, you're back.
So it would seem. Well, now, William, what is this?
Triple expansion engine, sir. I'm trying to find a way of increasing the compression.
Well, so half the engineers in England. How long's this been going on, then, eh?
Hasn't Letty told you, Father?
Oh, no, it must have slipped her mind.
Oh, I'm very grateful to Miss Gaunt, Uncle. Without her help, I wouldn't have got this far.
Come, this must have cost a pretty penny. Who's footing the bill?
Well, Miss Gaunt is, sir.
Charlotte, where is Letty?
That's Mum.
Can I ask you, Mr. Wharton, what is your reason for wanting to sell the mill?
Well, ma'am, I'll speak to you frankly, ma'am. My reason for selling is my health, ma'am. I'm not the fellow I was, ma'am, and that's the truth. Of course, that's a secret between myself and my doctor. And you, ma'am, since you so kindly ask.
You look very well to me, Mr. Morton.
Oh, no, ma'am. 'Tis appearance only, ma'am. You should see the physic I have to drink. Many's the pint I'm forced to drink.
You have my sympathy, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Well, there we are, ma'am. What do you think of her?
Well, I think she's a very fine mill, sir. But I'm wondering what your price might be.
Well, now, I thought of 400 guineas, ma'am. Well, that includes the land adjoining.
Well, I fear my principal wouldn't be interested at that price, sir.
I don't know as I like doing business with a lady. It unsettles a man, begging your pardon, ma'am.
Well, providing it doesn't unsettle you too much, I'd like to take a look inside.
Yes, of course, ma'am.
Sir Charles Helsby gave you £500. Well, I want an explanation, Letty.
Can you manage to wait until I take my hat off,
I
James?
said you should have told him, Letty.
Now, why don't you go and ask Mrs. Gibson to make us a nice pot of tea and shut the door when you go out?
Are you going to stand there glowering at me all day? Or are you going to sit down so we can talk? The £500 was a wedding gift from Sir Charles and Lady Helsby. When the wedding was cancelled, I wanted to send it back, but they would have none of it. Said I should keep it so that I would never be in need.
Well, it's an extremely generous gift, Letty.
Well, he's a very generous man.
Well, you should have told me.
Well, I would have done if you'd given me half a chance. You've been like a bear with a sore head since you got back.
Well, whose fault is that, pray? Well, anyway, what's all this about William?
William?
You know what I mean, that engine of his out there.
Oh, that.
Well, become a public benefactor, have you?
Certainly not. James, he's a very bright boy.
He's a lad.
With some very original ideas. He's a born engineer.
Huh?
I've been speaking to Mr. Clegley of Fraser's. He thinks very highly of the boy's work.
Oh, does he?
I've invested £200 in William.
£200?
It's a business investment, James, but it's all mine. And since we're talking about investments, I've had an idea that might interest you.
There we are, sir. A fine mill, though I say so myself.
200 guineas.
2. I'm asking 400 guineas.
£250, then.
No, sir. No, I couldn't.
Very well.
James, please, hear Mr. Wharton out.
Nothing to hear. The mill's not worth more.
Oh, but it is. You should see the trade I've done.
Aye, but not this year. Not now that they're bringing the wheat up by ship and milling it on the dockside.
But we're navigable here, sir. I could bring in the grain myself in barges.
Well, then why don't you? I'll tell you why not. You're almost scuppered like most of the country millers round here.
Maybe you're right, sir. 2 years the wheat crop's failed, and I can't afford the prices they're charging for this foreign wheat. The time was I milled the finest flour round here. Still, I expect I've put you off buying the mill now, haven't I, sir?
Letty, the money. I hope you won't object to it all being in gold. Well, call at my office tomorrow morning and we'll draw up a bill of sale.
But we haven't yet agreed on a price.
There's 300 in there.
Oh, by the way, Miss Gaunt would like to employ you to run the mill for her.
Miss Scott. But I thought you were the buyer, Mr. Anidi.
I'll merely advise her.
Oh, I see. Well, stay on here. I'd like that, I reckon. Can I drive you both back?
No, we'll find our own way.
Very well, sir.
Well, what do you think?
Think? Well, I think you'd better be right, lass, now that you're the owner of property.
James, I wouldn't be the owner of this property if it didn't suit you.
All the same, I have to find the grain, don't I?
Aye, and plenty of it. Do you think you're up to it? At your age?
Oh, James has taken the trouble to write. Go and see him. No harm can come of it.
Nothing will persuade me to enter his house again.
Oh, Robert, really? You're forever saying you want to expand the store. There's James apparently offering you money, so swallow your pride. At least listen to what he has to say.
You don't have to agree.
Oh, that's true. That's very true. Tell you, if I don't, I'm certainly not going to pay the 6.5% the banks are asking.
There are other sources.
You mean?
I might be willing to increase the loan. After all, that's what this tea party's all about, isn't it?
Oh, Daniel, I called round here merely to ask your advice.
Well, now you have it.
Well, I suppose I could. Perhaps I will. Yes, I shall go round to James forthwith, knowing full well that I don't have to accept his offer. Elizabeth, you will forgive me for not stopping, won't you? And Daniel, thank you once again. Oh.
Although James was strapped to his bootlaces for money.
With James, you never know which way the wind is blowing.
A habit that runs in the family.
I enjoyed our dinner together last night.
But now it's another day. You know, I'm only just beginning to know you, Elizabeth. Oh, surely you'll grant that in 17 years I've learned something. 17 years we could have enjoyed together.
Oh, I doubt either of us would have gained much enjoyment.
Oh, perhaps. But we both have a constant reminder of our past. The boy must be told sometime, Elizabeth.
Not yet. Oh, I don't know. William and I seem to have grown apart recently. And he's still seeing far too much of Charlotte.
She's his cousin, slip of a girl.
Growing towards womanhood.
He goes to the house because he's working on that engine. Now, tell him the truth, he'll stop going to the house and he'll stop seeing so much of Charlotte.
Put like that, you make the answer sound so simple.
Well, it is.
No, Daniel. You're forgetting the boy himself, what the knowledge could do to him.
Elizabeth, he's nearly a grown man. It's only in your eyes that he's still a boy.
Allow me to know my own son, Daniel. We will tell him when I decide and not before.
Good of you to call, Robert. Hi. Well, now, will you take a glass of something?
No, thank you.
How, Sarah?
Will you please come to the point, James? I want to get back to the store.
Oh. A store that's mortgaged? It needn't be, you know.
Look, your note said urgent and personal. The point, James, the point.
Very well. Robert, do you know how much your shares are worth at the moment?
Probably a good deal more than you're prepared to offer, no doubt.
Now, look, are you prepared to listen or not?
If I weren't, I would not have come.
Right, then. Look, do you still want to be your own man? Pay Fogarty off.
Of course I do,
Right, I'll tell you what I'll do. As you know, I've only 6 ships left. Barely keeping me head above water. So I've decided to follow your move. Get out of shipping altogether.
I don't believe you.
No? Here. Do you remember old Wharton's mill?
Wharton's mill? Yeah,
Well, I just bought it. In Miss Gaunt's name, of course.
You were Miller?
Now, I can just about scrape together £5,000 for your shares.
5,000?
Well, in a month or two, I doubt I'll be able to raise half that amount.
5? Well, that's no help at all. I owe Fogarty 10.
Well, it half solves your problem.
5,000?
I doubt I can repeat it, Robert. Now, I've had a simple document drawn out for your signature.
James, Father used to have a saying. To offer too much is a kind of denial. To offer too little is thievery. And for all his faults, I think the old man was right. No, thank you. I don't want any part of it. But I'll tell you what I will do. If you are going into milling, I will, from time to time, buy a sack of flour off you.
Got the devil.
And by the way, I should keep an eye on Charlotte.
What do you mean, Robert?
Her and William. I just passed them in the street, holding hands.
For goodness sake, James, what do you expect me to do? Put the boy on a leash?
Well, you can have a word with him. Tell him about, well, just tell him.
I'm quite sure he knows already. And if he doesn't, it's hardly a mother's place to explain such matters.
We'll get Fogarty to take him aside.
I will not.
Holding hands in the streets. Brother Robert took great pleasure in telling me all about that.
Well, you've only yourself to blame, James.
Me?
It's your house he goes to work on that engine of his.
Luke, all I'm asking of you is to see that they're chaperoned properly. I'll get Letty to do the same.
Oh, very well, I'll do what I can.
I don't want it on my mind while I'm away.
Away so soon?
Aye, needs must. I'm going to Philadelphia in the morning.
Hoist the staysail.
I'm sorry. Hello.
time.
Glad to hear it.
I still can't figure where you come on this voyage all of a sudden, like.
Because Miss Gaunt's a very astute woman.
Hey? I'm not with you.
Hmm? Oh, I bought old Wharton's mill.
What?
At her suggestion.
But all the mills inland is going out of business, or do I hear wrong?
You hear right.
All the grain's being ground at the dockside, and the new mill's just built.
Ah. This mill's built on a tidal river. Look, I can bring the Charlotte roads right up alongside, full of grain. The finest grain that I can buy in Philadelphia. Then we mill it ourselves, and it's profit all the way.
You standing the whole cargo? I mean, standing the whole cargo yourself? Not selling half of it beforehand for insurance?
Not one grain of it.
Well, you're a gamester, I'll give you that.
Get that topsail set proper!
Charlotte recently?
No. Do you think her cold could be worse?
I'm not sure she has a cold, William.
But Letty said she had. She said it would be wiser if I didn't go into the house.
Yes, I know she did. When I was your age, grown-ups used to lie to me. Sometimes big lies, mostly white ones, because they felt it was for my own good.
Did you know Pythagoras discovered the octave?
William, the truth of the matter is that James and I thought you and Charlotte were seeing too much of each other. You do understand what I'm talking about?
Yes, Mama.
Yeah, I reckon I could have an hour or so ashore, Captain. We're not going to turn around that fast.
You get an hour's shore leave here, you'll spend what it's taken you a month to earn. I'm doing you a favor by keeping you aboard.
Baines? Everything in order?
Yes, sir.
Right, well, I'll go about my business then.
Aye, aye, sir.
I notice the owner gets ashore, mate.
Sit easy, sir. Can I interest you in a glass of rye whiskey?
No, Colonel Washburn, thank you. But you can interest me in a cargo of your finest grain. Now, you got me telegraph.
I did indeed. You're asking for 2,000 bushels.
Correct, sir.
Well, that's a substantial order, Captain, but I'm afraid I cannot accommodate you. 1,500 is all I can manage.
Why's that?
I have a great many customers. I try to satisfy them all. With grain in short supply, that's not an easy task.
You look like a fine body of men.
We were. There are not many of us left. I lost the arm there at Gettysburg.
A hell, from what I hear.
A necessary hell, sir.
Well, then, as a cavalry officer, you'll appreciate my position. I, too, am fighting a war, you see. A war for my survival.
Suppose you tell me just what you're driving at, Captain O'Needon?
Well, maybe first we can agree on a price for the grain.
Well, there it is.
I do not bargain. As I've already told you, I can sell all I have, and more besides.
Well, the price will do well enough.
Oh, capital.
Oh, Colonel, perhaps I will try some of your excellent rye.
My pleasure. We fought on every battlefield of the war.
Aye. They looked like a company of thrusters.
They were, sir, every one.
Well, I'll drink to them and theirs.
Well, I will join you, sir.
And now, the quantity. We must agree on the quantity.
I'm afraid you'll have to come down by a quarter.
But I need the full amount. 2,000 bushels.
Now, look, Captain O'Needon. Even if I could supply you with the grain you require, I have to sign the certificate of clearance.
If grain were going a begging, I'm sure you'd not refuse me.
Well,
This really is excellent rye.
I have another.
I thank you, sir. I'll not refuse you. To the United States.
I will drink to that, sir. And I respond with a toast to the British Empire.
Aye. To your president.
To your queen.
Come, Colonel. You drink like a sea captain.
Ha ha! And you, sir, you drink like a cavalryman.
A toast, then. A toast to commerce. Long may she prosper.
To commerce. Sir, I like your style. But damn me, it cannot be.
Colonel, your glass is empty.
It's really rubbing salt in the wounds. Coming aboard 2 seas over.
You all right, sir? Back to work, you lubbers.
Not 2 seas over, 4.
Well, I knew rye whiskey was strong stuff.
Let me tell you something, mate.
Aye, what?
Cavalrymen can drink. Especially cavalrymen from the 5th Pennsylvania.
I don't doubt it, sir.
But they are men of courage.
Here, let me help you. Here, give me a hand. That's right.
And they are thrusters.
Here, let me get your boots on.
Thank you, Baines. Fine company of men, Baines.
Are they now?
They fought in every battle in the Civil War.
Is that the case, sir?
What's more, trust a man who can hold his liquor.
Aye.
And what is more, their word is their bond. And what is more, they can sign clearance certificates.
Can they indeed?
Clearance certificate for the Charlotte Roads bound for Liverpool with a safe cargo.
This is for 2,000 bushels, sir.
Full cargo. Am I up to it, she says.
This is awkward stuff, grain, you know. I'd be much happier
Am
if I
I
could...
up to it, she says. Oh. Ah.
right, lads, get the bags in.
Now, just a minute, let me see.
They're 3/4 full, sir.
I said, let me see.
You go down to Mr. O'Needon and take a lantern with you.
Don't like that.
No, sir.
The chaff from this stuff has a habit of exploding.
I know, sir.
Well, seems firm enough.
So long as it don't shift, there should be less grain and more room for bags. Begging your pardon, sir.
The weather's holding good, sailor. You worry over much.
Right, now stack them up there carefully. You come around here. Hand them over there. Go on, pack them tight there. You stick that one over in the corner.
Well, I think she'll take another 200 bushels of loose grain, Captain Baines.
Well, aren't we a mite overloaded, sir?
You heard what I said.
I don't like the idea of risking the Charlotte roads for another 200 bushels, sir.
Look, you know perfectly well that we've had those shifting boards strengthened. You're talking like an old woman.
I've been called that before, but I'm still afloat. And many that's called me that is with Davy Jones.
Now, listen, dear Baines.
Sir?
If you're good...
Yes, yeah, what is it?
Oh, well, sir, I'd say we're grain of foreign. If you keep overloading her like this and we hit weather, it'll move. You know that, Captain Baines, and I know it.
And you also know that we've enough bagged grain on top there to form a nice crust. Now, it will hold firm.
I've seen the bags. There isn't enough.
Extra bags is unnecessary. Cost money.
Small expense against our lives.
Oh, Baines, pay that man off, will you?
Look, I didn't mean no disrespect, sir.
Pay him off.
All right, sir.
Sir, I'm a Lancashire man. This isn't my home. If you leave me here, sir, I mightn't get a berth back home. I'm sorry, sir.
All right about your business. Anybody else pipes up, they don't get the same option. You tell your mates that.
Aye, sir.
When I get this grain back to Liverpool, we'll be dancing in the streets.
It's a long haul to Liverpool, sir.
Oh, I see the price of grain is up yet again.
Is it really?
Price of grain may well determine your future, young lady.
Bored doing embroidery. Just how long do I have to go on pretending I have a cold? It must be the longest cold in history.
A gentleman will take the hint. And William is a gentleman, Charlotte.
I know.
You say that as if you disapprove.
All I know is I'm happy when I'm with William and everyone thinks that's wrong. I'm happy with William and bored with you.
Charlotte!
Wind's freshening all the time, sir.
I wouldn't be always if you had 9 months right now, right? You're lucky, I suppose, again.
Listen, mates. The sea's beginning to run. There is, I tell you. Listen. The grain. When it moves, you'll hear it, shipmates. I heard it afore. Happened to a mate of mine. They went in and they got drowned. Drowned in the sea of grain. Saw it with my own eyes.
Now shut your noise.
Dead men's cargo is loose grain.
Blowing hard now.
Is it?
Been on this tack a longish while.
I know.
Well, that grain could shift.
Has it shifted?
No, but when it does...
When it does?
Well, if it does, then it could be too late. You know the risks as well as I do.
Yes, I know the risks. There's a good strong wind.
We'll stay on course.
Listen, can you hear it? It's the grain, beginning to move. Only needs one of them shifting boats to go and we'll turn turtle, as sure as God's above.
All hands on deck!
That's us, mates! Up top! Laugh now, you scum! Come on, Tom!
Get Miss O'Neill to bring him up on deck!
Aye, aye, sir! Captain's compliments, sir. And he'd like you on deck.
What's it like up there?
Oh, sea's over, sir.
Right, up you go, I'll follow you. What is it?
The grain. It's beginning to move, sir.
How do you know?
I heard it, sir.
Anybody else heard it?
No, sir. But I did. I know I did. I've heard it before.
All right, then get up on deck where you need it.
She'll capsize!
Gone! The shifting boat's gone!
I'll go below. Look at the cargo.
Oh!
Right! You two men, come with me. Get these hatch covers on.
Uncover these hatch, boys!
Careful now! That grain gets wet, I shan't be able to give it away! I'll sell it! Right! You two men! As soon as Gallopy gets down there, you close up the hatches! Wait! Right! Right! Get down there! It's shifted, all right.
The board's gone! There's no doubt on it! What now, sir?
We'll have to move some of these bags, see what goes on underneath there. Boy! Tell Captain Payne to want him!
It's gonna be a big job.
Only 3 layers.
No wonder it's shifted!
What's going on down there?
have to jettison some of these bags to get at the shifting boards.
Oh, there's no gun who likes the load. I'll send some men down to help you.
Get the carpenter to cut some more shifting boards. Well, won't get done just looking at it.
Come on, lads! Get up! Get it up! Left! Get up! Hurry up!
On at it, lads. Only a dozen or so more.
Come on!
Now there's the grain. Where's the damn shifting board?
It's broke! And here it was.
I'd just be broke from the top.
It might.
We shall have to see.
I suppose we have.
Right. Tell Captain Bayes that once the ship's on even keel, I want him to maneuver in such a way as to shift this grain.
Aye, sir.
We have to move the grain to get at the shifting port.
Right away, sir.
Go on.
I can't find the shifting board. It's gone.
Grain shifting. It's shifting too fast. Come out, man. Come out!
I'll just see if I can feel the rest of the board.
Come on. Come on, come on now. Let go. Did he have any family?
You had to prove yourself, didn't you? No base, helmsman. And for home.
Daniel, what is all this urgency? I was just leaving for the yard. Could it not have waited?
Well, this is not business. On the evening of the 4th, you will be dining with me, Elizabeth.
Aren't you taking rather a lot for granted?
You will accompany me to the Guild Hall. where I shall be presented to the Home Secretary.
What?
And afterwards, we shall be dining at his table.
What is all this about?
You know, one of my gifts is the ability to listen. I've been listening to your brother Robert, and he's quite a shrewd fellow when it comes to politics.
Oh.
On Robert's advice, I made a substantial donation to party funds and an undertaking that Fraser's would increase employment, although I was careful not to say by how much.
Just what are you up to?
A private dream. But this is reality. We shall go to London to the Guildhall. You must have a dress made for the occasion.
Could we?
There's nothing we couldn't do.
William.
I think the time has come, Elizabeth.
No, Daniel.
The boy is owed an explanation.
Yes, Mama. I think I am owed that.
William, as you've just witnessed, I love your mother very much. Now, this affection is not new. It goes back many years. In fact, more than 17 years.
You're my father, aren't you?
Yes. Elizabeth?